Halloween, the last night of October, is today one of the most recognizable nights of the year. Streets glow with jack-o'-lanterns. Children parade in masks, and entire neighborhoods transform into stages for the strange and the playful. It is a night of costumes and candy, of horror films and haunted houses, of laughter mixed with a touch of fear. Some see it as harmless fun, others as something darker. But behind the pumpkins and plastic skeletons lies a story far older than suburban trick-or-treating. 2,000 years ago, the Gaels of Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man marked a festival called Samhain. It was both a harvest celebration and the Gaelic New Year, when people lit bonfires and wore disguises to ward off wandering spirits. Many believed the boundary between worlds weakened on this night, allowing ancestors and other beings to cross over. Much about Samhain remains a mystery. The early Celts left no written records of their own. What we know comes from later Irish sources and Roman writers, which means our picture is partial and sometimes debated. Evidence for Samhain is strongest among the Gaels, while other Celtic peoples had winter-turning rites under different names. When the Romans took control of Celtic lands, their customs mingled with local traditions. Feralia honoured the dead, and Pomona was the goddess of fruit. Apples became bound up with autumn games and fortune-telling because they ripened at the very end of the harvest, just as the nights grew longer. In Celtic and Roman symbolism, the apple was more than food. It was a fruit of knowledge, love, and even the other world. Cut across its middle, the apple reveals a five-pointed star, a shape long associated with magic and fate. This made it a natural tool for divination. Young women in particular used apples to glimpse their romantic futures. A peel, cut in one long strip and tossed over the shoulder, was said to fall in the shape of a future husband's initial. Seeds dropped into a fire could crackle or pop to reveal whether a love would prosper or fail. In some traditions, a girl would eat an apple in front of a mirror at midnight, hoping to see the face of her future spouse appear over her shoulder. These rituals were playful, but they carried the weight of belief, a way to peer into destiny on a night when the veil between worlds was thought to thin. By the 7th century, the Christian Church sought to reshape these seasonal observances. In 609 AD, Pope Boniface IV rededicated the Pantheon in Rome to all martyrs, fixing a feast in May. Later, Pope Gregory III moved the feast to November 1st, and Pope Gregory IV made it universal across the Frankish Empire. Another word for saint in Old English was hallow, so the evening before became All Hallows' Eve, the name that would over centuries contract into Halloween. In the 11th century, Abbot Odilo of Cluny established All Souls' Day on November 2nd, a time to pray for departed loved ones. With All Hallows' Eve, All Saints' Day, and All Souls' Day, a season of remembrance took shape across Christian Europe, even as older folk beliefs lingered beneath the new rites. The Middle Ages added darker tones. After the Black Death devastated Europe, imagery of skulls, skeletons, and the dance of death became widespread, and remembrance of the dead took on renewed urgency. Later witch-hunting culture, fueled by texts like the Malleus Maleficarum, stoked fears of diabolism. While the book did not single out October 31st, later folklore and popular culture braided witchcraft imagery into Halloween's night. Village customs endured through the Middle Ages. The poor would go door to door asking for soul cakes, small spiced breads, in exchange for offering prayers for the dead. Children often joined in, wearing disguises and performing songs or tricks, a practice called souling in England and guising in Scotland. These traditions are widely seen as the direct ancestors of modern trick or treating. In Ireland, faces were carved into turnips or beets to frighten away spirits and light the night. In the 19th century, waves of Irish and Scottish immigrants revitalized the holiday, bringing ghost stories, disguises, and festive customs that blended with American life. They found pumpkins, larger, softer, and easier to carve, and quickly adopted them. Combined with the tale of Stingy Jack, a trickster cursed to wander with only a lantern, the glowing jack-o'-lantern became Halloween's most enduring symbol. In colonial New England, the Puritans, strict Protestant settlers who sought to strip away both Catholic ritual and folk superstition, rejected Halloween outright. To them, it was a dangerous mix of pagan custom and Catholic tradition. Yet in the South and Mid-Atlantic colonies, where Anglicans and Catholics were more numerous, fragments of All Hallows observances endured. By the early 20th century, Halloween was evolving into a community celebration. Trick-or-treating, promoted in the 1930s to 50s as a way to curb vandalism, soon became the hallmark tradition. From there, commercialization and popular culture carried Halloween into parades, costumes, candy, and glowing pumpkins on every doorstep. Halloween's journey is long. Born in Celtic bonfires, reshaped by Roman festivals, renamed through Old English, sanctified by the church, shadowed by plague and witch hunts, carried overseas by migrants, and reinvented in modern cities. So when you see a lantern shining on a doorstep, you are not just looking at decoration. You are witnessing a tradition that has crossed centuries and continents, transformed into the Halloween we know today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next video.